So yes, it's you.
It's my introduction, right?
You today, me on Friday, you on Monday.
Okay. All right. So we pause for a second and then we introduce
Okay.
everything, and then we'll bring you in, and then we'll start grilling you.
Okay.
Okay. Welcome back, OSLP family.
Welcome.
We are Our Sleep Life podcast, and this is Kelly.
This is Mel.
And we have a truly interesting interview for you guys today.
This is really different than
Yes.
all of our other interviews.
Yes.
Because typically, you guys know, we talk to doctors and we talk to other weight loss patients.
Yes.
So that way we can get stories out there.
Mm-hmm.
But this time's a little different.
Yes.
So we're gonna do vitamins because vitamin is super important with our journeys.
Yes.
There are certain ones that we have to take, certain ones we don't have to take. We have to take them certain times.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little confusing.
It is a little confusing.
So we have someone from ProCare, not just someone,
the CEO
of ProCare Vitamins that's going to be on today. So,
and we're going to ask him all the questions that we have been wondering about, and starting where it all began. So let's introduce Nick.
Nick,
thanks for coming on. Yeah.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited. Yeah.
We are super excited because like we said, we talk to so many patients and doctors, but we want to know where the vitamin company comes in to this.
because you guys play a big role.
You do.
We do. Absolutely. Yeah. We're vital to the rest of your life.
Yeah.
That is so accurate. So can you tell us where this started?
Yeah, how did you get involved? Where did this come from?
Right time, right place, to be honest.
Okay.
I worked for a medical supply company, and we had a receptionist that had surgery, and she complained about all the time, my vitamins are so expensive. I'm taking so many a day.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of sucks. She was doing, I think when we started booting up, Kirkland's, just because of the price, but she still was complaining about the time and still not getting everything the way she wanted. Oddly enough, we had a sales rep that actually worked with, and their daughters went to school with a surgeon at Missouri, University of Missouri, Mizzou. They just happened to be having a conversation, and the guy was like, "What do you do?" And he's like, "Well, we do medical supplies, but we also do, we're branching into supplements and vitamins." And he's like, "Oh, can you make a supplement for people who had weight loss surgery?" So I went down there and I met with him and kind of went over the issues. And at the time it was, you had to take it 3 times a day.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It was 2 pills per time.
Mm-hmm.
Plus you had calcium on top of that.
Yeah.
And the average bottle price was about $40.
Yeah. It's expensive.
Their compliance rate, even in year 1, was under 35%. And he was like, "We can't get anybody to take vitamins. So we tell them to at least take a Flintstones because something's better than nothing."
Yes.
Right. Yes.
That was the mindset.
A lot of people take that.
Right. They do take it a lot. They take Centrums, they take 1 a day, stuff like that, because the mindset has always been something's better than nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he said, "What can you do?" And I said, "I have no idea what we can do, but let me go back." So we hired an RD, and we hired a chemist.
What's an
and
RD?
we went registered dietitian. Yes.
Okay.
And then we used, so there is a guide to follow, if you will, from the ASMBS that gives you like the levels that they recommend. So we looked at the levels they recommended, and then we looked at why people are failing. I mean, right off the bat, $40 a month just for the vitamin times 12 times forever. That's daunting.
Forever. Yeah. That's huge.
That's very daunting for people. So we knew price had to be something we had to consider. What we did have to learn was like the vitamin itself had to be sourced in certain ways. Like there is cheaper versions of everything in our product. And honestly, the good products that are out there, they use a higher end quality product that helps with bioavailability and absorbing into the body. But then it was how many times they had to take it a day. That was really the driving factor. It was overwhelming. You have to do your vitamin and then your calcium 2 hours apart. So 3 and 3. So that's 6 times, 2 hours apart. It was literally from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, you had to calculate your vitamins. And so that's where we had to try something different.
Yeah. You
So
feel like all you're doing is taking vitamins all day long.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
And some of us in the very beginning, we feel full. So we're like, oh, our vitamins make us feel full. But we have to get water and protein in. And it's just like, you kind of pick your poison, because I know I did. I went straight for protein and water, and then I would just at least get the one a day, and like you're talking about, like trying to get something in.
Yeah.
Because it's exhausting.
Right. Yes. And a lot of like, I take medicine for it because I have lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, and fibromyalgia. So I already have a slew of vitamins that I take morning and night. And so when I tried to add in the beginning, all of those other ones, it was so hard to keep it all straight because there were some of my medications that I couldn't take with other vitamins. And so then you're already having to separate them out, and then you have to separate them out even further. And it was just like, I don't know what to do. Like, it was very daunting.
Yeah. Very, very daunting.
Okay. So we were talking about how it came about.
How it came to start.
Yes. And you were talking about the registered dietitian.
And the chemist.
Yeah.
And the chemist.
So we hired a registered dietitian and the chemist, and we looked at the ASMBS guidelines where they figure out what people should have based off of blood work and things like that. Source the right materials. What we came out with on day one was a 1 a day. Okay. And we didn't know if it was going to work. Based off of what was needed in a vitamin, we weren't sure. It was a chewable, not a capsule. We presented it to the doctor, and he's like, well, let's try it. So we made enough to give about 150 people the vitamin for free.
Okay.
So we tried it, and we made, I think right away, we made 5 or 6 tweaks based off of blood work within the first 6 months.
Wow.
The interesting thing is, just to back up, the dietitian that was working at the university was completely skeptical. She was like, you can't do this. It's not going to work. They're not going to absorb the way it needs to be absorbed. It's going to fail.
Wow.
But she's like, at the same time, we've got so many people that are quitting it. I'm willing to try anything.
Yeah.
So we did it. We made the one. We made modifications at 6 months. And then at 9 months, we made a few more modifications. And then we kind of locked it in. We felt like numbers. And then for the next almost 9 months more, we ran with it. And the blood levels started coming in good. And they started to get more and more excited. People were excited because it was 1 time a day. It was simple. And then we released it. What? Go ahead.
I was like, what kind of markers are you guys looking for to meet with those?
So that really depends on each individual. Like, I'm not looking at the blood work because I'm not on that side of the fence.
Right.
But the doctors, dietitians, they usually have certain things. You know, I would tell you iron's always been for everywhere. Is always something they look at, but every different facility that we run into, like, nobody has a universal these. Some of them test everything. Some test 1 or 2 things looking for, like, they feel like it's traits of other things. And then if those numbers start throwing off, then they start diving in and doing more extensive testing.
Okay.
But overall, like, they will do more testing at the beginning and just see where things are. But iron always is a big one. B12 we hear a lot of too, numbers wise. D we'll hear about occasionally as well. But yeah, those are the main ones that we typically have always heard.
Okay. Well, the ones when you guys were creating it, when you had the dietitian with you guys, what was that like? Like, did you have to ask them, like, I don't know, like the numbers of what they want in the pill? Like, what are they looking at to put into the vitamin? Like, what goes into making it, I guess?
So you have in the supplement world RDA, right? Recommended daily allowance.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's not based off a person that had surgery. That's based off a person that has not had surgery.
Okay.
The governing thing from the ASMBS was at least let's double everything. But then some things we found needed more. That was also basing it off of having it multiple times a day. So some of the things in our vitamin we found over the time had to go higher than even those recommended amounts because those levels weren't hitting where they needed to. Thiamin's a big one we found. Thiamine was coming in really low. At the time we did this, the average, it was 12 milligrams of thiamine, and the levels came in super low. So we put in more. And we got to 22 milligrams and found that was kind of the magic number to get blood levels working in the right direction.
Okay.
Awesome.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I love this stuff. Like, it's so interesting to know all of the levels and like you said, like watching, okay, well, this isn't working. So then we're going to bump this up, and then this isn't working. So we'll level this out. It's just interesting to me.
Yeah. So you guys have to get that all right. And then you try to put in a flavor. Is that what I'm understanding on top of it? So that we will like eating it, or
that's just with the calcium.
Well, no, we flavor our chewable too. Yeah.
The chewables. I take the pill form. Mel does the chewable. So that's why I'm like, no, there's no flavor. Yes, there is.
Well, the chewable, you got to think about it. You're putting rock and essentially what tastes like dirt and metals in your mouth.
Yeah.
And then, but people also want it to taste good. And that's a really big challenge. So we do enrobe a lot of our product so that it's got a light covering over it so it doesn't immediately hit your tongue. But saliva breaks that down. So if it stays too long in your mouth, then it really does kind of get nasty really quick. So you got to have flavoring in there. Like we tried a thing about flavoring years ago. We tried to create an all natural version using stevia. And we spent probably a year on that, and we got it tasting as good as we humanly could. And we sent it out, and people were like, if you ever give this to me again, I will shoot you. It's disgusting. They all love the idea. Everybody loved the idea of an all natural product until they tasted an all natural product, and they were like, don't ever do that again.
They're like, just joking.
So, no. Dang.
Because you're so right if you think about it. It really is like a rock, like a stone that you're putting in your mouth that you're trying to make. And
sand and all these like
all the minerals.
Yeah.
Nutrients. Like, they don't taste the greatest. Like it's all.
But I have to say, so I've had a couple other bariatric chewable vitamins, and I chewed it once and was like, I'm never doing that again. And that is why I've stuck to the pill form. Melanie gave me one on Saturday, and I actually was like, oh, this is not bad. Like I was expecting like not goodness coming out of it, and I was pleasantly surprised. And so you guys have done a good job on that.
The fruit punch is the one that I have. And the reason why, because I started using your guys' multivitamin because my doctor was like, you have too much B12 in your system.
Yeah.
We don't know if it's going to hurt you or not, but can you stop?
Like, can you just slow that down a little bit?
Like, yeah, she's like, you really like it, don't you? I was like, yeah, like it makes me like feel good. And like, I'm energized for like, it's like almost like caffeine for me. But I don't drink coffee or anything. So I feel like it's all natural. It's fine. Right. But she's like, just take it in your multivitamin, Melanie, and you'll be fine. And I was like, oh, because I wasn't taking it in a multivitamin. I was just taking it straight. So now I just switched to your guys' with the fruit punch. And now I feel even better because I'm getting all the other vitamins I was supposed to get.
Awesome. That's good though.
It's just so ridiculous. Like you have to really pay attention. Mm-hmm. Like me and Kelly preach a lot about how there's such a disconnect about what you put in your body and how you feel. Mm-hmm. People really don't want to believe what you put in your body is you're physically making yourself feel these things. Like you're changing the chemistry. That's why you're not feeling the greatest and what you need to feel good. And now that I have the multivitamin with the B12, I feel better. Like, yes, just within 4 or 5 days, I noticed the difference.
Oh yeah. So. It's it's the same with the calcium. Like I notice the difference of when I don't have it to when I do have it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is, but my body like balances out with that extra calcium. So
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear it. Yep. I'll tell you guys a story about when first year and a half when we got going and we really started selling the product. We started to do some automation things, and we brought in a professional IT person from FedEx to help streamline some of our activities. I'd known her for years from our other business we had been doing, and we were talking, and she's like, oh, you make this? She goes, well, I had surgery 3 years ago. She had sunken eyes, thinned hair. Mm-hmm. She looked very sickly. And I'm like, you don't take vitamins. And she's like, how do you know? And I'm like, I'm not trying to be mean, but look at you.
Yeah.
And she's like, and I was like, I'll tell you what, I'm going to give you 3 months worth of vitamins. If you love it, you know it. And she called me 3 days later and she was like, I felt something that I haven't felt this good in forever. So that is 10 years ago almost.
Wow.
And she still buys from us to this day.
Oh, that's so amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah. So she's one of those that had learned the hard way. The biggest thing to touch on what, like your body and how you feel though, is it doesn't happen overnight. Like you just don't wake up and you feel crap.
Right.
No.
And so you don't realize, so those really micro small changes, you don't understand it really is affecting you until you get right. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, oh my gosh, look at my energy levels. I feel better. I'm not achy. My hair, my skin, my nails look better. So that's what I really tell people too. I mean, eventually, if you don't stay on these though, you could have inside issues too. Gallbladder is a big thing.
Kidney stones, I think, was a thing, right?
Kidney stones can be a thing. Yep. Lack of thiamine can help with hurt with mental issues, stuff like that.
Oh.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Magnesium's relaxation, calming effects. good, better sleep habits.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
Huh.
Well, that's what I think it's hard because we're kind of taught that we want instant gratification. So we think the vitamin that we took today and the water that I did today is like, oh, I'm going to be perfect.
Yeah.
But it's like actually what's happening to you is like what 3 days ago is what you put in your body is what I think I heard. It takes like 2 to 3 days for your body to fully process everything you put in it. And so you're not feeling the full effect for what you're doing. That's why there's a delay with the vitamins. It takes a while for you to feel it. Same thing with all the water and protein. Like you just got to monitor it, but it's not instant. Like you don't grow hair, skin, and nails like back instantly.
Right.
No.
It takes a few weeks for it to show the difference.
And if there's anybody that knows that, it's a bariatric patient because
absolutely.
I mean,
I had a lot of hair loss.
I did too. Half of my hair is fake. Yeah. So No, so I totally agree with that. I'm wondering because I don't sleep well at night. Like I wake up several times. I'm like, and I'm wondering if like the magnesium has, when you said that, like it has.
Well, but if you're on vitamins now, that should be leveling out. There's multiple things. Like I can't drink coffee after a certain point of the day, else I could be up all night. Things, I know that about me. I am also one of those people, like when I put my head down, if I don't get to sleep right away, my brain kicks back on, and then you might as well get back up until you're ready.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, my brain races. I'll be exhausted, and it's still, I can't shut it off.
Right. I call it the hamster wheel. It just keeps going and going and going. Like, and there's nothing you can do about it at 3 o'clock in the morning. But I'm wide awake. I'm raring to go. Yeah, there was a few months where it was like I was awake at like 2 o'clock in the morning every single morning because my brain would just start clicking on, and so I would just start my day at 2 a.m. like, and so but then I would go to bed at 7 o'clock because I was up at 2.
Exhausted.
Right, exactly. So
goofy.
It's really hard. It's really hard to find that balance sometimes.
Nice.
So
for sure.
With having vitamins will definitely sounds like will level us out for sure.
Yes.
So,
absolutely, it'll help for sure. Yep.
So, what is your favorite part of doing this?
The stories you get to hear about how it does help people. I do love that a lot. What's really neat is when you see those success stories, and like not just because of the vitamin, but those people that you saw their pictures. They were 400, 600 pounds. Now they're in the 200s. The confidence that they get out of it, the happiness, like the health. Like I'm alive for my family now. We hear all these things. People like, I'm no longer diabetic. I don't have to worry about losing my toes. That kind of, I hear that, it's crazy, but it's really it's gratifying being a part of an industry that can really make a change for somebody for their life. On the flip side, the saddest thing is when you hear about the struggles and the failures, it's like, and they're back to square one, but they've already had surgery.
Yeah.
So, but it's definitely, that's the best part about this is the people and how it does really, you're in an industry that really does help people truly.
It's very fun. It's a fun place to be at, to hear and help people. Like you guys really help people because of the vitamins. Like this is a huge thing for this industry, and it's fun to hear. I get that.
I think I just like the fact of knowing that someone else cares.
Yes.
Because like you just hear pharmaceuticals is not like, no one likes to hear that. They're just like pill pushers.
Right.
But vitamins different than pharmaceuticals, but not at the same time. So you guys kind of play a fine line of like helping people, but also you still have to make a profit, but you have to make it easier for us to get access to. So it's like, how did you guys finally like come to terms with what kind of pricing you guys had to do for the bariatric world?
So when we first came out, we were $10.
Wow.
And I looked at the numbers and it was not sustainable.
Okay.
There's several things that we do that are kind of unique to us, but one of the big things is our third-party testing. FDA regulations tell you got to test at least a couple items in yours, but we test everything.
Nice.
So every lot, and we don't make large lots, so we can keep it as fresh as possible for a long time for people. So lots of testing. We do tons and tons of, like this last year, we spent over $100,000 on testing alone.
Wow.
But it's because we want to. What do you mean? What's testing look like?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so we have it done blindly. what'll happen is, so our product we do multiple levels of testing. So we make without giving away too much secret sauce,
right?
Pre-finished product. We take it and we send it off for some testing.
Okay.
And as long as it hits the markers it's supposed to hit there, then we put it into the finalized forms, and then those finalized forms are sent off. But the way we choose the vitamins is completely random. They're packaged, and then honestly, we randomly through the pallets will unpackage a few and just grab them all over the place. And we send in about 20 bottles per time for every lot. And then quite frankly, they pull out of all 20, a couple pills out of each one, and then they just do their thing with them, which is they dissolve them, they burn them, they do all these things to make sure that it is what it says it is.
Oh, that's
on
cool.
Everything across the board. Yeah.
That's all checked. I like that.
I want to go tour a testing like now, because I'm like, oh,
I did actually go look. It's kind of boring. I mean, unless you're into chemistry and stuff like that. I mean, you're measuring. It's very scientific, which it should be. That's what you want. From that end, but you're just kind of watching somebody do something and then look under their little measuring test, and then and they record information on a piece of paper and they move on.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's not as exciting as
it's not as exciting as the manufacturing. No.
I was just like envisioning like flames going everywhere.
That's probably a bad thing. I would think flames all everywhere. Yeah, no.
True.
You thought of like the movie version.
Yeah, I was just like, yeah. Anyways.
Well, that makes me feel secure that you guys are checking that often, because that's the one thing I know I was fearful with, because there's so many different types of vitamins. Like it's kind of daunting to know which ones to take.
And I mean, just to tell all of the people that are going to listen to this, what I've been telling people, like Amazon has had a massive rush of bariatric vitamins that are coming from like people that just popped up overnight, but they know how to work Amazon to make it look like they're this big reputable company. And quite frankly, it's a guy sitting in his apartment that just knows how to click on a keyboard right. I'm not going to call out names for legal reasons, but we've tested several of those. Not one's passed. So it's way off. And so what I would tell you is the people that are in the bariatric community that their names and they're involved, those are the ones you can trust, because those are the ones that are going through and making sure that they're doing the right things to make a quality product.
All right. So do your research.
So guys, don't go to
Amazon.
Your
research.
Well,
I mean, if you go to Amazon, go looking for I want you on my vitamins, sure, because I want that, but at the same time, the compliance, even from a business standpoint, if you don't take my vitamins and you take somebody's and you have success, that means someone else is probably going to have surgery, and that's another opportunity for me.
Right.
Sure.
So I mean, so I want people just to have the best outcomes, whether it's my vitamin or somebody else's. Ultimately, it's going to lead to more opportunities for me down the road. So
yeah, of course.
That's what I look at.
It really sounds like you genuinely care for this community, and that's really refreshing to hear.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This is a great community to be a part of, for sure. I mean, lots, you get to see so many good stories and success things going on, and real life-changing things happen for people.
Yeah. It's just heartwarming, because we see a lot of the negative of like the things that people say about having bariatric surgery. It's the easy way out, or you should just diet and exercise, or all the manner of things. And so it's really refreshing to hear somebody like genuinely care about our community and making sure that we are successful in our journeys.
It's literally the opposite of easy. I mean, dieting is easy, because tomorrow I could start keto and change my mind the next day. Surgery, it doesn't just happen overnight, and it doesn't just switched off like a switch. So no, it's a very hard thing.
The awareness is nice to know that, like, when you do a surgery, it is serious. And then what people don't realize that I call them normies, is that our body chemistry completely changes, and our absorption changes. So we can't take the same vitamins that they take. It's not going to be the same. So as someone, that has gone through the process of making vitamins, like if we look at a bottle, what are bariatric patients looking for? What are like the key points that say this is a bariatric pill, besides it actually saying it on the bottle?
You don't know. That's part of the education thing. Your doctors and dietitians, that's why going through them a lot of times for education is where it's at. 200% RDA, but really you go back to the sourced ingredients too, making sure it's properly sourced. So again, tying back, I don't want to bash Amazon, but the people on Amazon that do make these, just like the Flintstones made and the One-A-Days and the Syndromes are made, they use the cheapest, fastest ingredients to get their hands on because it's all about the profit and the value, you know, and they're not going to spend, you know, what to them, 3 cents per pill, they're not going to spend that, you know, on every extra ingredient thing, you know, we do, you know, so we'll throw another, you know, in one ingredient, like we added methylfolate, and not to share my pricing too much, that raised my bottle $1.10.
Wow.
Okay.
But that was something that the industry, we saw that methylfolate was superior and it was a better option for people. So we threw it in.
Okay.
You know, those are the kind of things we did. So that was a big jump in price. You know, if you look at, you know, from a business standpoint, my margins took a hit, but we did it. And, you know, we didn't raise our price when we did it either. We sucked it up and said, we're going to just do it. We had to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that shows integrity.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
it goes back to the education, but also those companies that are working in the industry and that are very active in the industry. Those are the ones that are typically looking for those things. We have some research points on our website as well that we could tell you about. That's where you go. I mean, beyond that, it's kind of a crapshoot.
Because ProCare is more than just a vitamin that we notice. So there's like resources on your guys' webpage for us.
And those are rapidly growing. So that is something we've looked at. So 2 years ago, we were really the only One-A-Day on the market that was heavily marketed. All my competition has now come out with a One-A-Day version. I still think mine's better, and I've got key areas that I feel like I'm stronger in. But overall, everyone did come out with a One-A-Day. So I was looking at how can we be better. I think a lot of my competitors are doing a really good job with education, but we're taking a little bit different angle on that. We want to educate you, but we also want to start working on a community-based thing and helping build and foster individual communities that even, again, my mindset isn't that I turn a financial profit off it, but if I can build a community that has success, and that means more people have success, I have more opportunities because more people do the surgery.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, the stigma is slowly starting to break down. And so if you build a community with the ProCare community, then you have more people being like, okay, let's do this. This company will make sure you have vitamins.
Well, and not only that, but I mean, some people that choose to go to, like, say, Mexico to have their surgery, they come back and they don't have the same aftercare as people like me and Mel, who had our surgery here, and we have a dietitian that we can go see. We have a surgeon that we can go see, you know? And so it's nice to know that there's a direction we can say, hey, there's resources on ProCare's website.
Absolutely.
And there's lots of articles, and like me and Mel actually sat down and looked through it. And it was really nice to be able to have a centralized place to say, yes, you can get your vitamins here. And so you're healthy, but then you can also get resources of what to do for these certain situations.
Well, and there's recipes, guys.
And recipes.
Yeah, they have recipes on there that you can look at and make for yourself too.
Yes.
So they are
absolutely
really into the bariatric world and what it makes you healthy.
Yes.
So
there was actually a couple where we and Belle were like, oh, we're going to have to make that. So
yeah. Well, you know, you've met Brenda Hain, who I love.
Yes.
And you know Brenda Hain's story. She's a nurse and she's had the surgery, and she was one of, I would call, my founding people to try my vitamin. Well. So she's been on our vitamin for about the 10-year time frame too. So that, which is really cool. But so she has been just an amazing resource from us, because she comes from a standpoint of, she ran a bariatric clinic for over a decade. Yeah. And so she's dealt with it from being a patient, but also hands-on with the patients as well. So a lot of great insights from her and stuff like that into the market and into people.
Yes, we love Brenda.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting to have a bariatric patient that also serves bariatric patients.
Yes.
You know, so she knows all of the things that we go through. Like, there's no question about it.
Right.
Because I think sometimes it's hard for other people to understand what, like, that it is, like you said, like, this is the hardest journey that we go through. And because it's not only a physical, it's a mental, it's a, you know, a chemistry from all the vitamins, like it's a constant evolving journey. And it doesn't just, like you said, like we can't just say, oh, we're going to be a bariatric patient this day and then change our mind the next day. Like you have to commit yourself to this, and it's hard some days, but it's worth it in the end.
Totally is.
So
we have some questions from our viewers.
Yes.
Okay.
that was on the list. So they wanted to know the iron situation.
Okay.
And why can't the iron be in a chewable? Wasn't that the question?
No, why? Yes.
A
Is that
chewy?
true? In a chewable, like with a multivitamin, why can't it be together?
It is. We have 45 milligrams of iron in ours.
In your multivitamin?
So I'm not sure.
That's what I was.
So actually our multivitamin comes in 3 different levels of iron.
Okay.
It's iron free, which, you know, and then 18 milligrams of iron and then 45 milligrams of iron. We made the changes. So one thing to talk about our vitamin real quick is what I like to say is our vitamin is not a static thing. It's constantly evolving.
Okay.
Like what it was 10 years ago, it's most certainly not today. And I can't tell you 10 years from now it will, because surgeries change, needs change. And quite frankly, as we grow, so there's like people's preferences change. So like you talked about having too much B12, we made a vitamin we call like our 45 special, which is it's what we started the methylfolate in. It was our very first introduction to methylfolate, but we also reduced the B12 because sleep patients tend to run B12 high.
Yeah.
So we upped the thiamine just a little bit more in that one too. So just a couple of little modifications there, but then we go back and we realize methyl's a great product. Let's throw it in everything.
What is methyl?
So, it's to not get too complicated. So you get folate, and then you need to convert that, and we've converted it for you.
Oh,
if that makes sense.
You've done the work for us.
For your body.
Yeah,
not, you know, that's the layman's way of saying it.
Okay. So it was a gummy.
A gummy.
Somebody was saying, why can't you make a gummy multivitamin with iron?
So gummies, first of all, don't break down. Take a gummy and put it into water by itself and watch it not dissolve.
Yep. Oh.
So you know when you have surgery, you lose a lot of acidic acid in your stomach.
Yes.
You don't typically break down a gummy. The other thing is gummies are very hard to mix properly and get the ingredients spread throughout.
Oh,
okay.
So you got to think some of these dosings in there are not at a very high level, and you're trying to put like literally 10 micrograms into everything. It has a high failure rate. Typically, if you look at what is it? I think it's Consumer Reports and stuff like that. They will tell you most gummies fail testing just because of the difficulty of them. But so your body can't break gummies down very well. And then and on top of that, I still tried to do a gummy that would work for people. Iron literally melts gummy material.
Oh no.
Oh, well,
that answers that.
Yeah.
It will turn black as night.
Ew.
And it will stain your teeth, and it's a net. So I tried, I messed with liquids in gummies. I'm my favorite part of my job is being a mad scientist.
Yes, it sounds like it.
I have tried so many different forms, and iron is a very fickle thing. And you've got to have it in the right ways, and it's got to be touched just right to make it work. So,
I mean, I don't like chewy. Like I like chewables. I do not like gluten. Not like gluten. Yeah, it's like gluten.
Gummy.
It's like a gummy.
Pectin?
Yeah. Jello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
No
a fan.
pectin for you. Yeah.
Before you guys sent us the vitamins, I was using gummy vitamins, and so that's good to know. That let's not go back to that.
Yeah.
After.
And that's why you
gummies are a no. Gummies really are a no.
Okay.
There's a lot of sugar in them too. You know, that's the other thing that can, you know, there's so many reasons gummies can be bad for people, but that's really my main things that I've always been told and what we've always held to. But we tried to make a gummy that didn't have all those things, and we failed ultimately. So.
Okay.
Gotcha. And then how do you know which calcium to take? Like, is that just from our doctors? Like, 'cause I think the main question was like the Caltrate.
What's the difference between so there's different kinds of calcium, correct?
Sure. Right.
So how do we know the difference?
So if you walk into a store, you're going to see calcium carbonate, which is the one you're always told not to take.
Okay.
The main reason for bariatric patients are, you know, chance of stones are higher with carbonate. You have to take carbonate with food.
Okay.
For it to absorb right. And it's cheaper. That's why you're going to see it in stores. Again, it goes back to that. I can make you a calcium product cheaper, but it's going to have something that's not really great for you. Some people still do it because they just see the word calcium and they move on.
Right.
So citrate. So for the longest time, citrate has been kind of the gold standard because you don't have to take it with food, and it does work really well. stones or less. But we actually kept looking. I'm always, again, trying to make a better mousetrap, right?
Yeah.
So we found a product called TrueCal. So
Okay.
TrueCal actually is what's left over when you strip water, lactose, and protein out of milk.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is actually derived from milk.
Ah.
It's got 0.006 gram lactose per gram. So it's
Okay.
very, very, and I have
Very
lactose
fine.
issues, and I'm very, very sensitive to lactose. Like if you,
Okay.
I love ice cream, and I will also have to love the toilet if I do that. Kind of, it's bad days for me.
The smell of it probably just gets to you. You're like, ah.
Yeah.
Can't have it.
So,
Okay.
so I'm very sensitive, but I mean, so essentially we came up with something, we've got case studies that we found on on this product in particular. The person that actually manufactures it is one of the largest protein manufacturers in the entire world. Very reputable company. They have a lot of case studies on it, a lot of science behind it. And essentially what you've got is calcium from milk.
Okay.
It plays a little better. What we like about it, besides having just calcium, it's got trace minerals in it like phosphorus, iron, zinc, copper, all those things that milk have as well, that helps transfer that calcium to the bone.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
You also
like
don't
that.
need food with it as well. So
Good.
it's the same as citrate. No food is needed to
Okay.
get the absorption. So citrate comes from a rock salt, which is, is a natural thing, but it's not milk. So we felt like dairy was even more in what humans already are consuming anyway.
Okay.
We are working on a case study right now with gastric. We're looking at how it breaks down with stomach acids of a bypass patient.
Oh,
okay.
So
That's interesting. You'll have to keep us updated on that.
So
'Cause
all
that's-
of
it's an 18-month study, so it's going to be a minute still.
That's
we
fine.
kicked it off.
We'll,
Yeah.
we'll still be here.
That's
All right. Yeah, there you go.
In
Yeah.
18 months, we expect you back on to give us an update.
All right, fair enough.
So is all your calcium vitamins like that?
TrueCal?
Yeah.
Yeah. So all of our calcium products, like we really toyed with doing citrate, and then I started looking at it and I was like, it plays better.
Okay.
It's just, and actually where we started with TrueCal was in what your favorite product is, the chocolate bar.
I love it.
Yeah, that's her favorite.
Yeah.
So that's all in yours that you've been taking. That's awesome.
So all the chews.
All the chews.
All my chews are.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, so we don't have sales reps. So when we do get education out, it takes longer to filter out to people.
Okay.
A lot of places have always just said, just take citrate because it dumbs it down for them. But then if we can get case studies in front of them, they realize, okay, this is a viable option for people besides just citrate. So
perfect.
We're pretty proud of it. We feel like that's how we innovate. We look at new products that are out there and try to make them work.
Yeah.
That's what I like about ProCare is that you're literally like always trying to like make it better, make it better, make it better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not just stay stagnant.
Yeah. Well, I think it kind of goes with us. Like we're in an ever evolving journey, and then you guys are kind of following
our lead. Yeah.
Yeah. And kind of evolving with us as the community evolves also.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
it totally helps. What else do we got on there?
Our ideal to take. So somebody asked for a weight loss surgery patient, what vitamins are ideal to take so you don't have to take so many?
My one a day.
Just the one.
That's what I'm saying.
It's one a day.
Yeah, one a day plus your calcium, right?
So if you were to break down your needs and go shopping on Amazon and you ignored, or you go to Walgreens or whatever, CVS, whatever you have around us, you would have to pick up a multi. You'd have to pick up a D supplement. You'd have to pick up a B supplement complex, plus your calcium. Possibly based off your surgery, you might need some more E. So you might actually have to move into an 80 EK on top of that. So I mean, a lot of people that try to piecemeal end up doing 4 or 5 products, and then they think they're doing it cheaper because, well, I got 200 of these for 50 or for $10.
Right.
Well, did you add them all together and figure that out? Like, what is your per day cost? So like when we were designed, our pricing was set, and it's still to this day, not when they're on sale, but if you go buy Flintstones right down the street, we are half a penny cheaper per day than they are.
Oh,
nice.
So that was kind of where we tried to work from there on that. So, so to answer your question, you need the RDA. You need usually 200% of the RDA. Some things you need a little more in. There is ASMBS guidelines that are out there that can help you
Mhm.
follow it. They're pretty technical to follow if you've never seen them.
Yeah.
But if you're looking, what do I need? Take one of my bottles, flip it over, and there you go.
Okay.
Yeah. So just the 1 a days, and then the calcium do you still do the calcium every 2 hours though with the chews?
3 a day, right?
3 a day. Well, so it depends. Again, that falls into what your doctor says, your dietitian, 3 a day is the gold standard. Some places are saying 2 a day is fine.
Okay.
They look at your history, your background. Like, are you a woman? Are you still going through, you've gone through menopause? Do you have a history of osteoporosis, things like that? It's typical that 2 is getting off, recommend more and more.
Okay.
But 1200 is where they want to see it. So that does roll you into the 3.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And I do 3 a day. So I do 1 in the morning, 1 in lunch, and then 1 at dinner.
Yeah. Like, I know this is kind of a random question, but it's like, what can we all do to get people to take vitamins? Because I have friends and family that want to deny that they need calcium. They don't want to believe in like 2 to 10 years that their bones are going to be a little bit more brittle. Like, they won't believe this. So like, how can we all work together to get them to take vitamins?
That is a tough one. I mean, you've got people that are just very stubborn. I'm fine. I feel fine. Everything's great. Leave me alone.
Mm-hmm.
But it's once they get to that point and it's almost too late, the damage is done. It's like, man, if I've only would have done that. The best thing I could say is listen to the people that came before you, like learn from the history of other people's mistakes and things that they've learned over the time frame.
So just follow people's stories. Like, it's really important.
Yeah, I mean, follow people's stories. These people have trailblazed for you ahead of time and have the ones that have had success and stuff like that. I mean, they're like, calcium is not something like day one you're going to feel. You might feel it a couple of days later, but overall, like, the things you're going to feel right away are going to be like the B12s. Like you took that and you were like, there it is. That worked, kind of thing. But the other things in your body just are not the same way.
Yeah, it takes a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, and then you guys do not just a bariatric multi, right? Do you guys do a like for everybody else too, or are you guys just exclusive to the bariatric world?
We do have unique products that are but it still revolves around bariatric patients. We made a prenatal. So one of the fun things that I hear about, and it feels like in the last couple of years, the trend's grown. Women that were too obese to have babies have had surgery and now they're having babies.
Right.
So we wanted to serve that community. I mean, it's a niche inside of a niche kind of thing, but we wanted to be able to serve that community and those women and offer them a product. So we have that's a unique one. The closest thing we have to something anybody could take, we have a product. Again, we looked at some studies and we took probiotics and the multi and meshed them together.
Okay.
So now that is 2 pills a day.
Okay.
With the probiotics, you just couldn't fit it all in. But so for someone that hasn't had surgery, they could take 1 a day and they would be okay.
Okay.
So for those that don't know, what is the probiotic really helping with on that multivitamin?
Gut health. It's really gut health. I mean, digestion issues and things like that. I have some people that swear that when they plateaued, the probiotic pushed them to another level. There is a study done by the University of Stanford that over people that had the weight loss surgery, those that took multivitamins and a probiotic saw an additional 11% weight loss over the people that just took a multivitamin. So that was one of our contributing factors. We know you guys, after you have surgery, your guts are a mess.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
And it takes a while to get them back to normal. So we felt like this could be a product that can help get them feeling better faster. And that's why we have it. So
I love that.
As a bariatric patient, when can we start taking your guys' vitamins? Do you know what's recommended or no?
That is actually kind of controversial because depends. Chewables, a lot of them say day 1. In fact, they say start taking vitamins ahead of time to get in the habit.
Okay.
Like a month ahead of time, you should be getting used to taking proteins and taking vitamins and getting into a regimen of sorts. Going to a capsule used to say 6 weeks minimum. It used to be 6 months, a year. Capsule technology has changed. You used to need more acidic base to dissolve it. Water dissolves them pretty dang quick now. So the biggest thing is what they found when you do capsules. Some people, the load kind of hits them at the wrong spot in their stomach. And so the chewable kind of helps filter it down slower throughout the stomach. So it spreads out a little bit and they don't feel it quite as bad.
Okay.
So really it's, what does your body tell you? What did the doctor tell you to do? There's a couple places that actually have you do it. And then right after you have surgery, take a break to let your stomach kind of recover for a couple of weeks and then kick it back on.
Oh,
okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Because we're typically on a 2-week diet, a liquid diet anyway. So
again, the little disclaimer is whatever your professionals tell you. That's ultimately what you follow.
Yeah. Talk to your surgeon.
You talk to your dietitian
first before starting anything. And we actually have a disclaimer at the beginning of our episodes that says,
not a doctor.
We are not doctors.
Right.
Follow what your surgeon says.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Okay. So let's talk about this exciting news that we have to share with everybody.
Yeah.
Of what we're doing for the month of
March and
April. March and April.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell them about it?
Oh, I get to tell them?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you guys are doing all the hard work though.
That's fine. We'll do everything else. You just get to make the announcement.
well, we're gonna work together and we're gonna do a vitamin challenge in April.
Yeah, we're so excited. I love it.
To make it easier for everybody, we're gonna give them a coupon code. You guys are gonna give them a coupon code, and we're gonna be able to save some money on the vitamins.
Mm-hmm.
So they buy their vitamins in March, they take them in April, and then we will choose those that complete it successfully will be entered in a drawing to win a couple prizes.
Yes.
So,
we have
do we want to tell the prizes now, or do you want to save it for later, or
No, we should tell it now.
Yeah, let's tell.
Yeah, let's tell them what's going on.
So the grand prize is going to win a year's supply of vitamins and an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
Which so awesome.
We are so excited about because I have an Apple Watch. Melanie has an Apple Watch. We love that.
Right there.
Yeah.
It yells at you. It tells you to get up. It says stop being lazy. Hey,
for sure.
Why haven't you gotten your steps? Like,
yes,
I thoroughly enjoy the Apple Watch.
It is much needed for this journey. So
and thank you for doing the Apple Watch and the 1 year.
Yes, 1 year of vitamins. That's huge for.
It's a multivitamin, right? That's what they're getting.
Yeah, the multi, correct. And then they'll get to choose a vitamin. If they're pregnant, I'll let them get the one for prenatals. If they want to try the probiotic, we'll let them try the probiotic.
Okay. Perfect.
Perfect.
And then we're going to have a second place that will get a year's supply of calcium.
Yeah.
And they will get some input on that for sure too. And they can try all of our different calcium options.
Perfect. I am so excited. This is going to be so fun. And we are going to follow along with everybody because we take ProCare vitamins.
Yes,
so we want to challenge everybody to get back on that vitamin train. Start taking them because they make you feel better.
Well, they're so vital to our journey and our weight loss and us feeling good. And I couldn't ask for a better thing for having a year supply because we know women out there and men that are like, okay, I've had the surgery. How am I going to afford a year's worth of vitamins? Because they kind of forgot about that during the pre-op. They didn't realize like how many you actually have to take. Which ones to take and the expense that goes with it.
Yes.
Because we helped out one of the girls like trying to get it out there to where if everybody like pitched in money and then that money was going to go to a bariatric patient so they can get all their vitamins.
Yes.
So we did that last summer, I think it was.
It was last summer. Yeah.
So this is super needed in our community. So
I'm excited for this.
Thank you for offering all this.
I'll throw one more thing out there. Just so one thing we do, it's called like ProCare Cares, if you will.
Okay.
Those that are destitute or, have been affected by things and just can't afford vitamins, we have what we call a blood work program, essentially. So if you're interested in that, they can reach out to us and just say, hey, I can't afford my vitamins. What can you do to help? And then we can tell them what we're offering. And then if it's a good fit and it matches up really well, then we can help them out, So like beginning of this year, we did a thing with COVID. We threw out, or not this year, last year, 2020.
Yeah.
It's all a blur.
Yeah, it's all continuous.
We did a thing for first responders and those that were in the front lines, helping them out. And so we threw them all some supplies. There's some of them still that honestly, they got furloughed. We're still hooking them up.
Oh, that's so great. Like I got chills. That's awesome.
So we're always trying to help. So if people say they can't afford it or something like that, we have solutions for them. We're always here to help them out.
That is awesome.
Well, you guys heard it here.
Yes.
Listen, ProCare wants to actually help us.
Yes. It makes me love you guys even more hearing that. Like everything that I've read, everything that I've tried, like you guys are just amazing an amazing company.
Well, in this day and age, like we like to fact check things. We like to make sure where our stuff is coming from is a reputable place. We want all the information to be accurate as much as possible. And to know that you guys are on the same bandwagon is super helpful, because you guys make it very transparent, very easy to see these are what we're doing and to help the community. So
well, thank you.
Yeah,
means we're doing our job.
Keep doing it. Yeah, keep doing it. We're excited for this.
Is there anything you want to else add about ProCare or yourself that we didn't maybe touch on or we may have missed?
You guys had good questions. I think you got everything pretty good. Yeah.
Good. Awesome. I'm glad. Okay. Well, yeah, because we put it out to our followers and said, okay, what do you want to know? Because that's
well, and the biggest things are the expense. They always want to know what goes into that, and then the chewable thing.
Yes, the chewable thing is a big thing. Yeah, like
the taste.
Yeah.
And guys, it's because you're putting a bunch of minerals in your mouth. It's not gonna taste good.
It's okay.
Go take a clump of dirt and put it in your mouth and say that was tasty. Make dirt taste good, and then we'll talk.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Oh, that's so funny. All right. Well, you guys heard it here first. We are doing a vitamin challenge for the month. You have to buy it within March. We will start April 1st, and you guys, we will have all the details on our Instagram and Facebook so that you guys can have that information. And we are super excited for this.
Yes, we are. This is going to be fun.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you so much, Nick. We appreciate
Thank you for having me.
And we will you guys. Oh, thank you. And we'll talk soon.
Awesome. Have a great day.
Right. You too.
Bye.
Bye.